Welcome back, everyone, to Phil's Recap and Review. Better Call Saul, Season 3, Episode 1, Mabel, the season premiere. And I am back here. Sorry if I seem a little disheveled or I'm a little bit all over the place tonight. I have a brand new setup, a new computer, and a new way of podcasting. So I'm looking at like all new different screens. I have a new weird setup, so I might sound differently. So if anyone in the live motherfucking chats out there, when people start to get into this, if I sound way too loud or way too soft, definitely tell me so I can make some adjustments. And I apologize at the beginning of the show for any real life technical difficulties tonight. But everyone, wow, Better Call Saul is back. Now, we're going to get all into this episode of Better Call Saul, but I'm really excited to be here tonight, excited to talk about another season of this amazing show, but I'm not alone. I see out of my side eye in this new screen over here, I see them, the live motherfucking chat is here tonight to talk about Better Call Saul as well. It's going to be a lot of fun. I know this show is not everybody's cup of tea. This show is something that some people are going to be way into, some people aren't. Me personally, I was so excited to have this episode back, so excited to have this series back, and wow, it picks up right where it left off for me, right doing what not many shows do for me now. I like sensationalism. I like big, huge things, big fantasy elements, crazy stuff like that. What I love about Better Call Saul is I can relate to the real relationships that they show me. Right from the beginning, that scene with Chuck and Jimmy, where they're talking right after all the shit happened, and Chuck knows it, but they connect on some level, and then they bicker like brothers. It just feels to me like these real moments. These characters for what I hate them, for what I love about them, and sometimes just the mundane nature of it all seems very real on the Jimmy Chuck side to me. And that brother interaction and the battles between the two of them is intense for me. I fucking love it. And then on the other side, there's the Mike stuff, which feels like, we're watching two different shows. And then if we simulate and we can go back occasionally to that Cinnabon Jimmy stuff, that's a third different show that's the epilogue to Breaking Bad. I get mind fucked. Plus, I just get overwhelmed by, I'm going to a nice restaurant again and I'm tasting the food for the first time in a year because I can only visit that place once in a while. And for my personal taste, the way that the simplistic nature of the way they shoot the most normal fuck in life, Vince Gilligan and his team drive me nuts. Yes, this is going to be me touching myself inappropriately and talking about Vince Gilligan for 10 episodes, about how much I love him and I want him to have my child. I'm a fanboy. I will accept that. But he makes the kind of cinema, television, visual crap that I like to watch. Even from the simple stuff of watching a dude eat a sandwich in black and white, or the perfect music to fit the perfect scene. Another show can do what he tries to do and not pull it off the way he does. And he directed this episode. He directed episode 2. Peter Gould directed the final episode of the season. The two of them, when they work together, that's what I love about this show more than anything. So let me go into the fucking live motherfucking chat. Oh, fuck. Look at everyone. You guys are fucking amazing in the live motherfucking chat. Mike is great. Hashtag fuck Kim. I really like the show because of the slow build up. People are saying, actually, I think the show is an extreme character and detail training film for writers to put a test of Breaking Bad trivia, says Red. And if the show is there for Breaking Bad Easter eggs and trivia, why just make a Breaking Bad 2 show? And so that's what I'm saying. Some people might not love this show in the way that I love it. This is just what I enjoy about it, and what drives me crazy about it is that it isn't Breaking Bad. I appreciate the Breaking Bad shout-outs that happen in it, and I'm excited to have Gus back, and I think he's not going to be on the show unless he does something really awesome, and that's from his own lips. So I'm excited to see how they integrate his character. Any other show that did something like this, I'd be worrying about it being stupid. But the way they do things, I know it's going to be awesome. But for me, the Breaking Bad stuff, that is great. And when we get that aspect of it, the Mike stuff, that's really cool. But that's not my favorite part of the show. My favorite part of the show is the Jimmy Chuck dynamic and just everything Jimmy. This is a weird thing. Normally, I love getting back into stories on people. I just don't care about any of these people, so I could care less about it, says Timo, and their backstories, especially if it's not really interesting. Oh, man, really, I got to catch up on Homeland. Thinking about watching 13 shows on Netflix. Hello, disheveled Phil. Hey, you look good. Oh, you sound sexy like Austin Powers. Yeah, baby. Sorry, I'm catching up. So everything sounds all right now. Awesome. dirty. As long as I sound good, it's sounding good. I'm just sort of getting used to my setup here. But rap about it, Phil. Oh my fuck. Okay, so I definitely, again, just love this episode. So yeah, so far so good, Taka. Setup seems to be good. I think I can be heard all right, and I'm not too loud and feedbacky, so the connection to the computer works. And I had Ernesto Riley come over here and set me up, so I'm doing good though. Yeah, this one's on the PC right now. I'm broadcasting through the Taka produced system right now. So, okay. So I love the scene that we get with Jimmy and Chuck at the start of this fucking episode. The acting is just incredible. Some people might say they don't care about these characters, but I personally really do. I care about, and I think it's more about the actors' performances than anything else, mixed with the really interesting writing for me and the reflection on things I can personally relate to with the brothers and all their problems, and Jimmy kind of struggling with that side of the world and being, and even in the later part, he can't help himself. He's just such a id. He just goes on that id constantly. He can't not do it. It's pathological for him. What's going on there, Justin? What's going on there, Charlie? How's it going? It is fucking amazing. Dude, shut up. I don't want to hear about it right now. So, anyways, I don't care much about them, but I do love the acting. It makes sense. I watched Better Call Saul 1 and 2 before Breaking Bad, oddly enough. I love the series. There's so many people that do love Breaking Bad, that do a Better Call Saul more than Breaking Bad too. I mean, I wouldn't go as far as saying that I like Better Call Saul better, but I think it's a more finely tuned show at some points in time. Breaking Bad was a lot of figuring it out as it went, and I think so much Breaking Bad is fucking excellent. Almost every episode I love. Season 1's a little slow for me at times, or not a little slow. Just I don't know. I have trouble with season 1 sometimes. For me, it's a little harsh. I think it's the cancer cough that gets me a lot. It's tough to watch without feeling uncomfortable. Better Call Saul gives you a different kind of feeling. But I think even at the beginning of this season 3, it seems like the tone has shifted a little bit, even in the color palettes. We talk a lot about it. We talk a lot about. Oh, excellent. We talk a lot about how they used the color palettes the last couple of seasons to symbolize different moments. Everything was very bright compared to the Breaking Bad palette. Everything was very in your face. That color palette in this episode has started to shift a little bit to the point where now things are getting a little grayer in times. And I think that's following Jimmy. And fuck all. I love you, Vince Gilligan. And to me, this is where it all comes from. I'm not wrapped up in some deep storyline in the sense with Better Call Saul. It's legitimately for me a character study and a human study, and that's what I fucking love about it so much. Awesome, guys, thank you so much. I'm still going to be tweaking the sound a little bit, but I'm glad this is working out. Good first test. And let's jump in the really like Jimmy and Chuck because I have an older brother. I see myself in that relationship. Broke. I have cousins. I don't have any brothers, but I still can relate to that in a friendship level or just in so many levels when someone's just better at you than things, but you really want their approval, and it turns into a toxic relationship because that person never really cares, and it's a back and forth, and you're just constantly giving and giving, and Jimmy is on tilt. Chuck puts Jimmy on tilt constantly, so he can't really run his Jimmy like scams, this slipping Jimmy, Saul Goodman kind of stuff. I want to hate Kim too, but I don't care about her. I don't care about her enough to hate. Retro is in the fucking house and he wants it. Retro wants it. Retro gets it. I want to test a lot of shit out tonight. So let's see if I can do the sound cue. Do the sound cue.
Well, fuck out, Pam. Fuck out, Pam.
Yes. Bam, shut the fuck up, Phil. Okay. So I definitely I love the dynamic between them, and I'm not the biggest fan of Kim either. I see a lot of Kim hate going on in the live chat. I'm definitely not a huge Kim fan, and I think she's manipulating Jimmy and running a scam of her own. I think all these characters are people that are running scams. Even if her scam is she just likes the way Jimmy makes her feel, so she perpetuates it but ultimately knows she's going to have to let him down in the end, so she's just using him temporarily. I think they like Better Call Saul better because of Skylar. I think that's a good reason. Red. I've heard some people say that they like Better Call Saul more because of just Bob Odenkirk. That's a lighter-hearted show, whereas Breaking Bad's very intense all the time, and they don't. I'm trying to verbalize the discussion I had because I had this big discussion at a family gathering recently about Better Call Saul because my cousin Gotti, who used to do the Breaking Bad podcasts with us here, which actually started the channel off, hates Better Call Saul, won't watch a fucking or has tried watching it 3 or 4 times and made it through all of season 1 and just won't give season 2 a shot. Just done with it. Not his show. And I accept that. But then I know some people that Breaking Bad got a little too crazy for them or whatever with the meth and the shit and the whatever. And Better Call Saul is more centered for them and more centered around a show that they like and they can relate to, and that kind of stuff. And some people just
I smoke a lot of marijuana.
Some people just smoke a lot of marijuana. Kim is all right. What's up, Dave? How's it going? Who is Saul? Saul Goodman is Bob Odenkirk from Mr. Show fame and lots of other things. Pretty much if there's a sitcom in a certain period of time, Bob Odenkirk was in it. And he was also from Breaking Bad, a minor but an important character in the Breaking Bad universe. I won't spoil all the things he does on that show. And this is a spin-off series from Breaking Bad, a prequel slash post mortem of the scenes that of what happened at the end of Breaking Bad. So, and that's who Saul Goodman is. The lawyer's scamming lawyer is 101. I don't watch it either, Dave. I just like the people in the motherfucking chat, Sin Miller. It's great to have you in the motherfucking chat. Sorry, Claudia, but Kim can't balance Jimmy. Jimmy is Saul, nothing more, nothing less. It is just breaking him down. And I also forgot to mention at the beginning of the show, because I'm disheveled in my new beautiful setup. Thank you, Taka. We do have the call-in line is fucked up tonight. I have to figure out how to do that on the new system, but the voicemail line should be up at 781-990-8509 if anyone wants to leave their thoughts about the episode. I don't know if our good friend from last season, Big J, might be out there listening at some point in time too, but yeah, I'm okay, Sid. It's really about the live motherfucking chat. But if anyone wants to leave a voicemail, the voicemail line is open at 781-990-8509. We'll be taking those voicemails towards the end of the show. And good lordy. Let's get into this thing.
Oh, good Lord.
Oh, good Lord. No, don't let these Okay, hey, get down. Get away, pop up. Lower yourself. So, as I'm wasting time here, it's time for the recap. Wait, that's the wrong button. Recap. What? You don't have to worry, get your recap. See, if Jimmy only had a shit buddy, he would be all right. So, where was the song? Where the fuck was it? Let's see again. Let's go. Oh, this is the song I was looking for. Okay, it's time for the recap. Oh, shit. Okay, so let's get into this recap of this episode of Better Call Saul. What we open up our episode on future Saul. Excuse me. It's like watching one of my bands live. Just 45 minutes of me going, "Hey, everybody!" So wait. If I tilt the camera up a little bit, I could do the standing recap. Okay, so we open up on future Saul, and he's in the Cinnabon, and bang, we're right in. Like, oh my fucking God. My day is hell. Look at my fucking mustache. It rules. So then we get a fast-paced montage with the time-lapse effect, with Saul doing some hell work. I mean, that shit that really bothers you, you're rolling it out, you're just fucking... And at this point in time, I'm realizing how much of a fanboy I am for the filmmaking of these guys as we get the Sugartown song. It's Sugartown. Okay, enough of that. So I wonder how long I could have kept that up. So we come back in, and he just hangs up all the stuff, grabs a magazine. We see him walk off. He's basically talking to no one, socializing with nobody, walking through the mall, just with this whole thing about being like sad and depressed. There's just this era of sad and depression around him, and he's balding, and he's just walking through. He just looks like there's no color, and I think, to bring back to what I was saying at the beginning about the color palettes thing, I think that's why this stuff's in black and white, because we're following Saul, and through everything in his life, he had that color, the magic, the Slippin' Jimmy, the Saul Goodman. And now being Cinnabon Jimmy, I'd say we called him Cinnabon Saul, but he's more like Cinnabon Jim. Do the standing recap. I've been wanting to get a standing desk at some point in time. So, what's going on there, Betty? What's going on? Are you my shit buddy, Betty? Oh, no, don't do it, Betty. Okay, so then we get back in, and he's just scared and depressed. He's like, oh, shit, I fucked up. I shouldn't have followed that guy that looked like the dude from Malcolm in the Middle. So then he's just walking through the mall. He's sitting down, and he's eating his lunch. And it looks like this is how horrible his life is. He's eating a bologna sandwich or some shit. It just doesn't look good. Betty, are you playing the bongos? So we see him just sitting there, and the song sort of cuts out to him fading, eating his lunch and stuff. And he's just sitting there. Just the most mundane thing looks interesting the way Vince shoots it. And we just watch him eat his lunch, read a book in the mall as the music fades. And then there's this mall sounds. The whole thing's just filled with mall everywhere. Everywhere is mall sounds. And there just seems to be this impending something. So a kid drops some shit, and I kind of thought it was going to be more intense than it was, but it's still a fucking great scene here. Some kid drops some shit, whatever he was stealing, and he makes eye contact with Jim, and he's kind of trying not to look at it. He's trying just to eat his sandwich, and the kid is running from the cops. You can hear the cops coming, and he goes and hides in a photo booth. And Saul is literally frozen, cannot move. And I kind of know this feeling. It's when you've been in trouble enough, or you're guilty about something, or if you're someone like me that just, I always, no matter, even when I'm wearing my Cookie Monster hat, I always feel guilty about something, especially when I wear the Cookie Monster hat, because I know I ate all the fucking cookies. Get away from me. So I ate the fucking cookies. Leave me alone. I'm sorry I ate your fucking cookies. Or your Cinnabons. So one of the cops looks at him, and we don't see the cop in the shot. I love how they do this too. They literally just focus on the badge. We don't see anything else except for Jimmy's sweating, fucking, balding, smelling, stinking cheese bologna sandwich face. Look, bad lunch face look as he starts to get scared to shit that the cops are gonna just recognize him or something like that. And they were like, have you seen this guy? You've seen this kid? He's doing some bad shit. He stole stuff. You see this kid? He looks like this, that. He doesn't say anything. They go, excuse me? Excuse me? Could you... Excuse me? What the fuck? And ultimately, he just goes... Meep. right over there. Zoop, zoop, doo, 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 doo. And he points out where it's where the kid is in the photo booth. So the cops go in, they grab him. He's fucking scared, and the guy goes open the jacket, and all the loot falls out, and the mall cops arrest him and go to put him in the most hellish place on earth, mall prison, where you see all the sins of see all the bones and bodies of the old dragons. I mean, the old people that have been busted for shoplifting, and he literally can't take it anymore. He's overwhelmed. You don't know what it is. He's just sitting there shaking. And what's going on? What's building up inside him? Is he afraid of the cops? Is he going to run? What's he going to do? But no, it's the Lauren. He's got to do the lore, girl. And he just freaks out and he starts screaming at this kid. Screams. He starts, hey, Phil, hey, dude. He starts screaming at this kid. Sorry, why I adjust the volume here. He starts screaming at this kid.
Say nothing, you understand? Get a lawyer.
He just can't help himself. He's overwhelmed, not with necessarily even at this point to cause crimes or anything. He's overwhelmed with the urge to fight, to help somebody, to screw over, to not just let someone get screwed over by the law. And I just love that that's inside him too, because within all of Saul Goodman is, I believe, a good person. Oh, we got Marie in the live chat. Great to see everyone that is in the live chat. Big Kev. Oh, big motherfucking Kev. Yeah, Betty doesn't like it anymore. Betty's like, I'm out of here, this motherfucker. Correction. Malcolm in the Middle, dad from Zordon from Power Rangers. You're absolutely right. Good day to you. Good day to everybody that's checking out this live stream right now. And fucking A. For a second, I thought Saul would say he would represent the shoplifter. Me too. I think he wanted to, Timo. I mean, and that's what kind of was driving him in that moment. He couldn't help himself. He needs to help people. And even if it's self-satisfying, it's all right. I mean, if you're being self-satisfying, but you're doing something good, that's a bigger question. If you're doing something just selfishly for your own reasons, you don't give a shit. If I'm helping people out, feeding the poor or doing some crap, but I don't even give a shit. I'm doing it for horrible reasons because I need to be absolved for some other bullshit that I did. It doesn't change what I did, but it also doesn't change that you're actually helping people out. And I think Saul likes to help people out, even though he's doing it to make himself feel good about some of the other shit that he does or some of the other things in his life. He has that slipping Jimmy and Chuck on his shoulder on either side. Hello. To Broke Black Man, you from your lips to Strawberry Shortcake's ass. Broke Black Man, you are absolutely right, buddy. So, okay, so get a lawyer. So number 2, he's back from lunch. Number 2. Who does number 2 work for?
Nice lunch.
Oh, yeah. What you need?
Earl's about to come out.
You got it.
Yeah, Renwood, absolutely. We talked a lot about that last season, and that's an excellent point. Thanks for bringing that up. With Saul, he breaks good more than he breaks bad. He's someone that's default is being a little flexible on laws and regulations, and at times he breaks good. He just can't help himself but to be a good person. Yep. A good deed does not wash out the bad, nor a bad to the good. Excellently said, Gungan Killer. It doesn't outvalue either side of it. If you're doing a good thing, great for the good thing, but it doesn't change that you're a fucking asshole. And it comes to me with artists too, and I know this is a bigger issue. I'm going to be Better Call Saul brings this kind of shit out of me. It's going to be a much preacher podcast, but no, but like with artists or performers or something like that, if you're an idiot or something like that, you can still create good art, and both things can be true. Someone can be a good actor and a fucking shithead. Someone can be a fucking scumbag piece of shit and a good musician. things aren't mutually exclusive. Jimmy can be a really awesome person and then the biggest scumbag, slime of the earth, shyster lawyer on the planet. And Jimmy is we all are, but Jimmy, especially as the character in question, is a huge fucking contradiction on so many levels of a person. And again, more of just what I love about this show and the kind of things that it explores. And Breaking Bad explores those things too. The problem, not the problem, but the difference is Breaking Bad also had this surface world that was very, very interesting. The meth world, charismatic energies of Aaron Paul, the odd couple of our generation, to me, Aaron Paul and Bryan Cranston, and their dynamic was just so intense. Everything about Breaking Bad was intense. It dealt with a lot of the same issues, though, with how people relate to real life situations and how people break bad, what will get them to that point. Better Call Saul is in some ways just, again, more centered, but deals with a lot in a different gear. Even though I do think it's going to pick up this season, I just have that feeling that this is going to be the transitional season where the show is going to start feeling more and more high energy of some of the peaks that we're going to reach. It's going to move a little faster, I think, than the previous two seasons. Yeah, unfortunately, just water. No, it's pure vodka. Here we go. Excuse me. Pure vodka, 100%. When does Westworld season 2 start? I think somewhere in 2029. Yes, DJ11 is correct. I believe that is what I've heard. Yeah, I believe it got pushed back again. Is from what I've been aware of, what I've heard. Okay, so he comes back from lunch and he's just like a nobody. He's a schlump, to quote Ray Liotta at the end of Goodfellas. And he's just working, he's messing with the dough, he's kneading that dough, he's beating that dough. And suddenly it seems like he's having some sort of a breakdown or an attack of some sorts, and he falls down. And then we get our intro, which is a little different than our intro from last season, not the music, but it's just sort of like a static shot of Lady Liberty all fucked up. Hey, SM Down, great to see you, buddy. Great to see you, my friend, and great to see anyone that's popping on in here on a Monday night, later than we usually go live, but really awesome to have all of you guys joining us tonight. Really, Cat, give me 1 second. Let me play an audio clip before I go let you out of the room, you motherfucker. So we're back at the end of last season as we come back in from our commercial break. I like how the show did this.
So can I
and we come right back in the
tell
scene.
Howard you're not quitting or retiring or whatever? Could take all the shit down off the walls. I'm gonna go call Howard.
Jimmy, you do realize you just confessed to a felony?
Yes. But you feel better, right? Besides, it's your word against mine.
So and then we come back right from the end of that where Jimmy confesses a felony to Chuck, and I love the alt perspective that we get in that scene as we see it from the outside, and then Jimmy busts through the thing, and he goes back into that room. We see Jimmy's foolishness and an emotional care of his brother. Chuck scared grabs the tape recorder, but we see his hands shaking and stuff. Then we get Jimmy calling Howard and telling him that, listen, everything's fine. I don't know what fucking happened, but it's fine. Then he heads back inside, and Chuck, and you can just see Chuck for the rest of this scene just has this look like he won. And but Jimmy kind of turns it around and says, listen, you know, you won, you know what I did. Can we take all this shit down? So they start ripping shit off the wall, all that stuff that Chuck hanged, all the extra moon blankets that Chuck hanged around the fucking place. And Chuck, this is my favorite scene in the entire episode coming up here, because this is what I'm talking about. I've had this argument before with so many people. You're doing something and they start telling you you're not doing something right. It just spurns off in this discussion. I feel like this is one of the most real conversations ever on television. And here we go.
At least use a little finesse. Finesse? What do you... Quit yanking at it. You're pulling the varnish.
Well, these go to 11.
Pulling any varnish off the walnut.
Most certainly are. Look. See?
Well, maybe you should have thought about the friggin' walnut before you covered it in duct tape.
I'd love to see some more Spinal Tap characters on Better Call Saul. Red Walrus. Where's Christopher Guest?
Finesse, fine. Show me. Demonstrate.
Like this. Gently roll it with your thumbs.
Gently.
And right. See? Alternate the thumbs. Up and down. Get a nice tight roll going.
Sorry.
Oh, we all love it.
One that needs a nice tight roll.
I love how I was going to make the joke, but Bob Odenkirk beats me to it.
Gently. And right. Left, right.
I get it. Wax on, wax off. Mr. Miyagi.
I love how we get the Princess Bride reference and the Karate Kid reference back to back. Fucking Bob Odenkirk.
Karate Kid. Seriously?
I think another dynamic of the brothers that I really like so much is the fact that they are both comedians and they both have a timing. So there's always an undercurrent of humor to every scene that they're doing, even the intense ones. There's just a very natural, because they're both very good at improv, you can tell, and their interactions come very natural to them, and they can go off with each other and make it seem a little bit more natural, but not. So they probably play with the dialogue a lot where they're in those kind of scenes. Great stuff, though. I'm the person that says, no, do it this way. I've been called OCD on many occasions because of it. And I'm usually that other person, Timo, that's like, no. And then I do it the other way just to frustrate the OCD person. But that being said, I'm OCD in my own ways, but I'm also destructive. And I'm like, no, I'm doing it this way. Could you not slam the cabinets? Could you not open the cabinets? I'm like, this is just how I open cabinets. This is just how I eat. Don't tell me what to do. The walking motherfucking David in the live chat. Great to see you, buddy. 1 for the buddy, 2 for the show. Walking David, I love you. I don't have a rhyme to that. I'm sorry. I lost it. I don't care. Oh my God, Phil, I would hate you. I hate when people spitefully do things the wrong way. Oh, I'm not doing it the wrong way. I'm doing it my way. It's just not your way. What makes your way the best way? My way is the best way. And I like doing it any way I fucking want. That's the argument that we'd have. And it would turn vicious. It would turn evil. It would be great. Then we'd get drunk and it would be fun. And we'd hug. I'm a butthead. Walking David. What would I rate this episode on comparatively to the other episodes of the series completely? I would say this is probably an 8 for me for Better Call Saul episodes. Great start to the season. I very much enjoyed this episode, and we're gonna get to it. And I know this is gonna be unpopular when I say this. I like the Mike stuff, but you know, I would have even at a certain point in time, like even where the progression that we get. I talk about this in other shows. I'll talk about it in here too. I like the Mike stuff, but we all know where this is going. We all know where this is going. They could have given this to us at the end of the episode. They could have given us the visual at the end of the episode. They show them in the fucking previews. We know where the Mike's. We know who's tracking Mike. Is there any chance no one else is tracking Mike? And I like it. I think all the scenes are shot exceptionally well. But I do think it's a little bit of don't show Mike unless you're going to get to Gus right away. And that doesn't mean he has to be in every episode. It's just we all know it's coming. So just give it to us already. Touch it. It's called Mabel because at one point in time when Chuck and Jimmy are talking, they find an old book called a children's book named Mabel, and they start talking about it. Why it's really called Mabel probably has a bigger thing to do with the bigger season arc, because in last season, the episodes were an anagram for Gus is back. So I wouldn't doubt them doing something else with episode titles and just playing with stuff. Mike is the best part of the show. We also know where Jimmy is going. Do you feel the same way? I know where Jimmy's going to Saul, but I don't know how the Jimmy and Chuck storyline is going to conclude. I don't know if Chuck's dead. I don't know how that culminates. I don't know if Jimmy is going to need to change his name somehow legally because of some problems that relate with that. I know Jimmy's end game, but I don't specifically know the very soon end game of that. Whereas in the Mike situation, I know his next step, the next exact step he's going to be taking is going to meet up with Gus, and then Gus trying to bring him into his enterprise. I know that's the end game too, but we know he's in this season. Bring it. And whereas Chuck and Jimmy stuff, I guess I'm a little bit more involved in that, but I like both things. I just wanted to see Gus in this episode selfishly. Hi, wait, was that? I'm that type of person too, Marie says. Red Merman says, thanks. At one of my jobs, I always rewrite the dry eraser board so it's one color handwriting. I hate when people use colors for no reason. Like what happened to Chuck's wife. Wouldn't be a stream without me shaming someone for Black Man. But no, that's definitely a fair point. And I don't want to put this up against and I'm afraid that this show is going to get this way because they're two different storylines. That's why I hope what they seem to show next week, that throughout all that they bring Mike and Jimmy together more often. And I'd say if that was my one criticism of the first 2 seasons of Better Call Saul, there's not enough moments of Mike and Jimmy interacting together. And I hope for a long story arc of the two of them and maybe involved in the same thing. So bring it more into one big show, because right now, even though I love both shows, it does feel like two battling storylines for attention. And especially in this episode, it felt like, okay, we're going back, we're going forth, we're going back, we're forth. I know they wanted to place it in each situation, but they almost have an embarrassment of riches right now. And I want to see them integrate the stories a little bit more. I think that would be more beneficial long-term once we get Jimmy and Mike together more. My prediction is for future behind a prison glass panel. Yeah, and his brother pays him a visit to bail him out. And that's a future prediction of the Jimmy in the future after Jimmy finally gets busted. Timo needs a sound effect. Yeah, they need to upgrade the chat. They need to now that they're paying a little bit more attention with Super Chat with a lot of other fun features. They need to upgrade the whole chat thing and let you guys put pictures up, just a whole bunch of things need to change, which would be really awesome. Ty says the first 2 seasons I would rate a 7. Timo's a mod behaves himself. Yeah, don't mess with Timo. Funny stuff as always. Oh, thank you, Marie. I appreciate that. So they're ripping stuff down. They have a real argument. They capture a real life situation. Jimmy finds a book, The Adventures of Mabel, and this is where we get this whole discussion of The Adventures of Mabel, which is the episode title. Let's listen to a few seconds of that.
I haven't thought about this in forever. You remember this?
Yeah, you're right. Pictures would be put with people would be putting dick pics up, and I mean, I would like that, but I know some people would probably have problems. But I just mean maybe even like weird, like a brief selection of memes that you can put up, similar to maybe the way like Twitch does things or some other chat clients where you can actually play with it a little bit more. But you're right, it would require more heavy moderation and shit like that. Totally. But I do hope they upgrade it at least to a point where they keep the timeline of the chat so people that watch the videos later can watch the chat later. But anyways, back to Saul.
I do. Harry Thurston Peck.
Yeah. Mabel goes into the mountain and she meets the king of the brownies, and he gives her some kind of super delicious jelly. And holy crap, 1912.
Yeah, belonged to Grammy Davenport.
Great point, Iron. And we would totally allow dick pics just for whatever it's worth. You know, if it comes to that point, you know, mods, come on. It's not a party till the dick pics start flowing. If the chat is saved, we'll have to behave. No one says you have to behave. I mean, I guess there's just a record of it. I mean, anyways. So could you cut that part out of the show? Okay. So Jimmy finds a book, The Adventures of Mabel, and they just start talking to Jimmy has one memory of the situation, like his mother read it to him.
She wrote her name in it. She was reading that to her school kids the year the Titanic.
Oh, Ahmed, you encourage that. You encourage the dick pics so everyone feels comfortable sending whatever kinds of pics. And if I have to weed through that for the other, it's everyone's gonna be happy. Anyways, let's continue. Sorry.
Went down.
Damn. My mom read it to me.
I read it to you.
Someone that's just watching this for Better Call Saul is just like, I'm out. I can't handle this anymore.
What was I at? Like 5 or 6?
You had this weird night light that you were so crazy about. It was
Daffy Duck.
It was some Daffy Duck ripoff with this weird red
mouth.
bill.
Oh, yeah, Bill.
Yeah. And it used to get so hot we thought it would burn the house down. But
No worries, bro.
Yes, you got a great memory, Chuck. The red bill and everything. Hey, what was the name of that little girl that lived 3 houses up from us? She had like.
See, some people might think this scene is mundane and just like whatever. To me, I'm captivated by every moment of this scene. This interaction just feels, again, so real. I've had these conversations with people where you have someone that just has a really good memory. Usually I'm the person with a really good memory of the past thing. And I'm talking to them like, remember that? And they're like, holy shit, when did this happen? This happened. And then Chuck can't let it go, though. He'll never forget what happened, and he will pay. Ahmed, I definitely subscribe to that same belief. Just Incredible says, after 2 seasons of build-up, it seems like they're finally leading to something. I like the show, but it seems like the majority of the past episodes were set up for no action. And keep it going. Keep pumping it, DJ. Wait, keep pumping what? What are we talking about again? So anyways, Chuck says, don't think I'll ever forget what happened, and you will pay Jimmy. And Jimmy's like, yeah, right, whatever. I'm not gonna pay for shit, Chuck. Chuck, keep thinking that way, Chuck. Keep thinking like you're gonna beat me. But you're not beating shit, Chuck. You have no proof. He never for a second suspects what happened. And Brooke said this in a comment in the Discord group. Jimmy should have, and we talked a lot about this in the season finale recap, so I don't want to bemuse the point, but Jimmy is a fucking idiot. Jimmy should have held this shit to he shouldn't have given a shit about Chuck at that point. I mean, he cares about his brother. That's his weakness. His weakness is breaking good, as Ren was saying. But ultimately, that's one thing that he never should have let up. There's certain cons, there's certain things you just have to take to the fucking grave with you and not tell anybody. And especially if you're a con man, if you're choosing, this is the life we have chosen. Sorry, I didn't want to cough it all up, like do a Hyman Roth there. But ultimately, it's the life you're chosen. And when you choose make these decisions, live these things, you cannot give up your fucking shit. You cannot just keep that fucking inside. I mean, you have to just keep that shit inside. You cannot just let it out because you're being emotional. You need to check that shit or get out of the game. One or the other. Fucking check that emotional shit at the door or get the fuck out of the game like Dana Carvey did at the end of an Opportunity Knocks when he met the girl and didn't want to fuck with Feech Lamana's fucking daughter because he gave back the Cubs ball. You know what I'm saying? Like when you know it's time, we've all seen the Con Men movie. When it's time to get out, get out. If you're going to make stupid moves like fucking telling your brother that you know, and not just that, get down, straight up get to be like, you got everything right. You're so right. It was just a dumb move. You're dumb. And he did it all for Kim. Dumb. Dumb. Timo says, I still feel like it's the setup. It's all set up. These characters become what they are. Maybe if we didn't know them about Saul, it would be better. And Timo, I want to ask you that question. That's a good question. Would you How would you feel differently about this show watching it from go, never of watching Breaking Bad? Would you appreciate it more, less? Are you judging it on against Breaking Bad? So, or you know too much about Saul and where Mike end up, so it's not quite as interesting because of just prequel-itis to it? Or like you said, it's just the characters you're not invested in. I'm curious of just what people's perspective is, because I do know some people that are watching Better Call Saul have never seen Breaking Bad, and they're captivated by it and what's happening here. And it's an interesting phenomenon with these shows. Similar, I've mentioned this before, like when Paul McCartney was in the band Wings in the 70s, and they were super fucking popular, and people were like, "Oh, you were in a band with the Beatles? You were in the Beatles? What the fuck?" So it becomes surprising sometimes. Or with Frasier and Cheers, where Frasier becomes so popular, people kind of forget about Cheers. But those were all future things. Prequels have a problem. There is something called prequelitis, in the sense that when you know what's going to happen, it deballs it a little bit. And I definitely accept that. And I think that's why I'm more invested in the Saul stuff, simply because it's more human interaction stuff where the crime, we kind of know where this is going. That's why I think Gus being introduced and some more Gus backstory is going to add a lot more new stuff to the Breaking Bad universe, instead of just retreading on how our characters got to point A, even though it is going to be how Gus got to point A. But Gus's backstory is something, at least parts of it, that most Breaking Bad fans have really wanted to know, and something they could explore to some extent, and more of his rise of power and how he got to the point where he wasn't Breaking Bad. Let's go to the live motherfucking chat. Motherfuckers. I like Timo now. He did it all for Kim, the power of the pussy. Jimmy should surround Chuck's house with electric products. Just fuck with him and prevent him from leaving the house. Jimmy just likes Kim's cookie. Chuck will have power over Saul as long as Saul loves him. But when Saul's love is gone, Chuck will be all alone, says Ren. I liked it, and I watched Breaking Bad after. Oh, interesting, Red Walrus. Better Call Saul is slow. Yes, Ty Queen, it's a slow show. There's nothing wrong with that. I like slow when it works. Slow isn't good when it's shitty, or when it's not done well. And for me, slow is done well here to extreme success. Timo says, I think I would like the show more because now it's like they're dragging the inevitable as if we don't know what will happen. And it's just an interest. And that's why I mean with prequelitis, it's an interesting point that you get when you're making a prequel, that do you make it in that way that someone could watch your show and not know, or do you make it just for the people that watched your old show? And it's a tough act to balance. And that's why I think prequels so much of the time don't work. And even when they're the best, and I think this is one of the best prequels there is, there's still issues with them because of those factors. And I think the reason why it works more for me is because I think the team is aware of that, and they try to mess with that as much as possible to make it interesting. Saul is a prequel to Breaking Bad. Yes, and it is also a sequel to Breaking Bad in some ways. Saul is Walter White's lawyer in Breaking Bad. Vince Gilligan says he sees an upcoming episode as the 63rd Breaking Bad episode. Very excited about that, Retro. I read that interview too. I thought it was the other way around. It's slow, but the Mike parts keep Timo very interested, so I would still be interested. That's why Joni Loves Chachi was such a success. And the Tortellis, that was such a great show. I love Joni Loves Chachi. I was more of a Charles in Charge fan, but because of Buddy Limbeck, that guy was hilarious, and young Nicole Eggert. Anyways, watch as far as Jimmy. We all know Jimmy will be Saul, and the show's called Better Call Saul. Why is it taking so long to get to that point? It's like Star Wars prequels and the Hobbit prequels. I know the end game and who survives. Gotham was pretty good, but they failed. What they put up in danger. I knew who was going to die. So yeah, I think prequels suffer from that a lot just in general. They're a tough thing to make work well, and they're an easy thing to fail because of, I think in a lot of points with prequels too, is you fill in the gaps yourself. And I think especially in Star Wars, not to get to a bigger issue here, but with Star Wars, I think, yeah, they were shite and they had their issues and all that sort of crap. And Misa really fucking shitty now. But the bigger problem too was a lot of people predict, or already for years of there just being those first 3 Star Wars films, talked about what the Clone Wars were, talked about how Anakin must have fallen. Excuse me. Speculated on that stuff. That was part of the fun of being a Star Wars fan. And I think same with Breaking Bad. Sometimes when you look at characters, maybe I never thought about that for Saul, but sometimes with Mike, I thought, how'd this cop get in this position? But you kind of, more with Star Wars than anything else, at least I did. I had this whole story built in my head, and I think so many people did. And then when you finally saw it, you're like, oh, that wasn't exactly what I wanted it to be. You're like, it doesn't have to be that, but that's why so many people wanted to like that first one. They're like, but it's more Star Wars. I'm into it. And I admit there's some element of that with Breaking Bad with me, that when Breaking Bad finished, I'm like, oh, what's Vince Gilligan going to do next? I need to get into another Vince Gilligan show, and him just doing something else again in that universe. And adding more lore to it, in thread of a better way of saying it, tickles me in the right way. And the Better Call Saul needs a Jimmy Eats the World song, and Jimmy's cycle is complete. And the only reason I even binge watch this show, not because I couldn't stop, but because to watch my recap. Yeah, I'm sorry. No, I do appreciate that. And I appreciate everyone that's tuning in, whether you're into the show as much, because I love reading differentiating opinions. And I'm never going to be like, oh, I like the show, you're a fucking idiot for not liking. You don't get it. You don't get what they're trying to do. No, I mean, like I said it right off the bat. I don't think this show is for everyone, partly because of the prequel-itis, and when you compare it and know the lore of the new universe, and part of it that it's a slow-moving show at times, and not everyone likes that kind of show. I think what's undeniable is the acting, cinematography, music mixed in, the story, all those points I fucking love, and it moves at the right speed for me. All those problems with the prequel things, I think they address to a certain extent, and some of the things are like some of the things are, and I'll point them out when we get to them, maybe get to me here and there, that they do like to kind of like lead into the future. But for the most part, I like all the Breaking Bad Easter eggs that they pop in there, and I think the show stands on its own as an entertaining show. But that doesn't mean fuck you if you disagree. Fuck you. Agree with me. I only want to live in an echo chamber. Ren says, I think the prequels for Game of Thrones will suffer the same problem if they do Duncan Egg, it will not. Sorry, I'm having a technical difficulty. Yes, Sam, I'll be back on in a moment. Sorry to you 1,000 times. I'm a hippie. I can't help myself. So Chuck says you'll never forget it. So then we come back in on Kim, who's doing who's helping Jimmy out and kind of talking to some of the senior citizens, and we're connecting right back to the last episode where Jimmy had to leave some of his clients, and she's doing her thing.
The judge decides to play tricks.
Okay, we can do that. Let's see. Garden.
Hey, I'm back. Oh, hi, ladies. Jimmy McGill.
Hey, Jimmy, we are almost done here.
Great. Can I?
We're almost done. I'll be with you in a minute.
Okay, so you're stealing my clients. So you're stealing my fucking clients. Is that a tax because I fucking screwed you over?
Lily Pond.
Was this revenge, Kim?
Lily Pond.
Oh my goodness. The fuck? So Jimmy goes outside, and it's a great use of color as always. And I just love the office scenes. I think they picked a really good set for the office. Oh, excuse me. Picked a really good set for the office. And Kim is locking the door, and he's thanking her for bailing his ass out with his clients. And he massages her, and she's pissed. She wants to know how what's going on with the Chuck situation. And he says, Chuck crisis over. But do you want to talk about it? And he says, I can't talk about it because it's that thing you told me I never want to talk about. So, and about me breaking the law for you, and Kim goes, okay, fine, whatever. And this is where she explains to Chuck that, and those clients, you can't have them back. I'm taking those clients. I mean, not to Jimmy. I'm taking those clients. We're partners. Doesn't really matter who has the clients, right? So I'm taking them. And he goes, I don't care. It's not about the money, not about anything. And so she did. in my mind, sort of steal his clients. But he's not mad. He's just thinking about things, and he's playing things back in his head, and he's happy that for 10 minutes, Chuck didn't hate him. He loved that feeling. He forgot about it. And like an addict, he got his one little fix, and he's fucking Chuck's little fucking play toy, as Katie would say. He's Chuck's little fucking play toy. Why do fucking Al Red Sox fan, right? Why was she stealing his clients? Says Tebow. Though it's their practice, I thought their practice was going to be separate. Bitch, says Timo. Timo asks, why do shows insist on making women bitches? I'm female. I've become a reverse feminist because I watch too much TV. Brooke says, yeah, Timo. Good. There is only one thing to type in there. Hashtag fuck Kim. Timo is on fire in the live motherfucking chat tonight. Fucking great stuff as always from Kim. And I don't know. It's a good question, and I think it could be a legitimate criticism on some of the team from Breaking Bad because of if we think about Skylar as well. But Kim is Kim is an interesting character because I do like some of her qualities, but she has this vindictive, cold, using kind of side to her, and the actress plays it the fucking really well, and really, like, you believe that. I just believe that she cut Jimmy's neck any chance she got if it was beneficial to her. She does care about him, and she gave him like a loving look, like a poor Jimmy look, but almost like a pet that you'd have to put to sleep or something like that. As hard as it is, but you don't really care. And not that I could ever fucking do that, but I'm saying like she's one of those people that's just like, yeah, the dog's barking too much. Guess he's old. We're gonna have to put him to sleep. And that's like take him to the farm. Can't deal with this stuff. Like, she's one of those type of people that she's gonna cut him when he like most needs her, when it becomes annoying to her, and she's gonna go fucking dark and fucking just stab him and fucking kill his dog. Whoa. But yeah, I think she's gonna do that. And I would say the only character in the Breaking Bad universe that was Marie, Hank's wife, but she was a kleptomaniac, and she definitely had tendencies, but I sort of crushed on her a little bit at times. I had a little Marie thing. I just liked her personality. I like the sort of like acerbic wit and in-your-face personality kind of traits. But I guess Marie would probably be an example of that too. Or they had Lydia, who was a little mousy, but also sort of like cold calculating. Thank you, DJ11. Thank you in the live motherfucking chat. Pubbin. Please join us and please subscribe to the channel too for all our Breaking Bad, all our Breaking Better Call Saul coverage this season. We'll be doing recaps some nights after the episode airs, some nights on Tuesdays, early afternoon, depending on my commitments the next day. Joe should be with us every other week on these, so Joe will be back next week for this recap. So for real, every show I've watched, there is a bitch, says Timo. I've come to accept it. Catelyn in Sansa, Eleanor on Black Sails, Carmela Soprano, Skylar, Elena, Rosita, and Laurie. Awesome, SM. I will take that question at the end of the show. I'll open it up a little bit depending on the time. Yeah, for a couple of like just couple of randomness. What the fuck? But yes, absolutely. So Kim looks at him lovingly, like poor Jimmy. So then we go up to Chuck listening to the tape while he has audio hallucinations. He's playing it for Howard, who seriously looks at him like he wants to kill Jimmy. And he goes, that's the end. But ultimately, there's nothing we can really do about this, Chuck. What do you want to do about this? And he says, your brother's a world-class SOB. I wish you told me about your plans, but so we could have set this up in more of a bigger situation. But Chuck has a plan. We don't know what Chuck's plan is. It's not to get Mesa Verde back. It's not to do anything for the law. It's probably to blackmail Jimmy, scare Jimmy, get Jimmy to go away, change his name, whichever direction it's going to go with that. So suddenly, bump, da da bump, da da bump, 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 bump. We're magically transformed to another land. We look around and we're fucking with Mike, and oh god, these scenes are fucking awesome. He looks around, fast-paced music. We're just in a different show now, and he takes off like a bat out of hell, running away from the situation that he was left off at the end of last season. scared who the fuck left this note that said don't on it. We get the amazing Arizona skyline, classic Breaking Bad sort of look, excellent visuals, long shots that most like big Hollywood, big budget films would be lucky to get. And he stops the car, and this is where it gets a little, I might not know exactly what was happening here, but I get the gist of it. He was looking under his car for any signs or any bug of any kind that they knew where he was, any tracking device. We see some incredible lighting in the background, and it's just almost like all natural light too. It's just, or we see some lightning in the background that looked like it was a shot that they captured, just the real lightning. I don't think it was CG lightning. So in like the sky kind of getting darker and stuff. It just looked really fucking amazing. Have a great night, Al Red Sox fan. I missed Phil's Game of Thrones teaser reaction last season. He said motherfuckers. Laughed my ass off. He has me every year. I'm still gonna try to do a trailer reaction with it when they do the full trailer. But that was a lot of fun last season. Boo boo kitty fuck. Do. So we follow Mike, and he's just to an auto parts store, which someone can correct me in the Breaking Bad fact checkers here. Was this the same auto shop or same junkyard place that Mike brought them to in season 5 of Breaking Bad when they were trying to figure out the magnet situation and all that sort of crap? I don't know it was the same place, but some part of me thought it was, but I could be 100% wrong. But I thought this was a Breaking Bad Easter egg. Someone will have to correct me on that later. So then Mike gets his car in a lift. He's searching in and out. Sooner or later, some guy comes out. I mean, I can go through all this, but it's just a great visual. Another time lapse kind of effect going while Mike just rips apart the car like he's playing a game of Street Fighter 2. And that that section where it's like, beat up the car. You're just beat up the car, break the targets. And he just starts beating the shit out of the car, ripping it apart, looking for some sort of bug or something that they used to track him. And whoopsie. And then some dude comes over and says, dude, we're closing in like 15 minutes. Retro says, looks similar. I thought it was the same place. And again, I'd have to go watch the Breaking Bad episode, but I think it might have been the same place. And so the dude the dude kind of ordering the cab is pretty hilarious. And he's just one of those funny characters you can expect in this universe. That's just this side of a slippery Pete here. He's like in a badger.
How is it again?
Herman Trout.
Herman Trout. Yeah. Just tell him to pull up to the gate and honk. Okay, thanks. They're on their way.
Thank you.
This reminded me of the Pete Holmes sketch where he plays an accountant who has to tell M. Bison to switch used Honda Civics to beat it up. But again, someone said in the live motherfucking chat, the scene was great. The montage, I kind of yada-yada'd it, but it's just one of those things you just got to see. Great montage. So Mike turns around, he sees a fuel cap for sale, and he kind of just gets a spark. He goes and gets the screwdriver, heads out, and gets the fuel cap off the car he was fucking with. Cracks, opens that shit. You see a good sky shot mixed up. He finds it. He finds a little bug. He's almost relieved, but he's like, who the fuck is fucking with me? We cut to night, and he has a different. This is where it gets a little weird. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but I get the gist of what happened. We cut to night, and he has a new car that he takes the other. I just sounded like I was from Boston. He's got a new car, and he takes out the other fuel cap, and he puts in the old fuel cap maybe of the car, and then he opens it up. He sees inside. He sees the tracker, or brings it inside. Sees the tracker. It makes some notes of what kind of or gets the tracker in his house. Gets some notes. Gets a magnifying glass. Writes down the serial numbers of it. And he's always thinking and looking, and he has to figure out who sent it, or it's pretty high end, or how I get one is ultimately what he's really thinking there. and he goes back out to the gas clap, and then we go to commercial. And damn, this should be a stream gonna talk about TV. Yeah, we should do a whole stream talking about TV bitches. Will that be your official come to the stream, Timo? Will that be our stream together? Get Timo live on the air talking about this. Can I just be your simple co-host? Can I just host the Timo show, a half an hour with Timo talking about that? That'd be great. I'm in if you're in. Yeah, we'll call it Phil Smokes and Timo Gets Ideas. That'll be the name of the show. Okay, so we come back with Saul, and he's with another client, and old folks are just loving looking at. He's just so good with old people. He's so good.
Don't be a silly. I only hope I didn't take too much of your time with all my dusty old photos.
Goodness, no, you're...
Well, Timo, then, okay, if that's the case, then I'll do this. Give me a fucking rant. Give me as long of the rant you want to make it. It could be 30 seconds or it could be a minute about that subject. And Joe and I are going to start doing like a weekly thing where we're just going to like kind of do a roundabout sort of thing where we're just talking about any kind of shit. We'll play that on the air. So record that, even if you send it in like a voicemail and like text me in my box or something like that. So we'll make it happen that way. So we come back in and Saul's with the clients. Old folks love him. He's showing pictures. He's working. And then we get eventually the military guy coming in, which
When I come back, I'll show you my niece's confirmation.
Where we'll get to in a second here. Where this is where I say that we're kind of getting into a slightly darker tone, where we get something that was so lighthearted last season with the commercial and the military guy coming to call Saul up on his shit for breaking in and lying about that dude being a military veteran and all this sort of shit.
Patiently, who do we have next?
That way, Timo, you can do liquid coverage on your own. Like, wait till you're in the right frame of mind and just record it. No timetable on it. Just give it to me whenever, sometime in the next year. You have a year to get me that.
Hello. It's so good to see you again.
I escorted you and your clients onto my base. I treated you with hospitality and respect. Word out of your mouth is a damn lie.
Captain, please, sit down. Take a load off. Hey, I'll get you a complimentary coffee or a soft drink.
And your so-called war hero, Fudge Talbot? No such person, never was.
Granted, some artistic license.
Oh, give it to me hard.
You entered government property under false pretenses, sir.
I am no expert on your procedures and your protocols and whatnot. So if we fail to cross it,
and I love what happens in this scene is Saul can't be on the defensive too long. One of his talents is turning it around is to flip you around and get on top of you. He has so much control in these kind of moments.
B-29. Huh? B-29. Fifi's a B-29. Oh, this is all just one big joke to you. Huh?
You don't like the commercial?
No, I don't. But this has nothing to do with the
criticism is always welcome. But you should realize that most people find it uplifting, patriotic even. You check your recruiting numbers. I think you're going to see an uptick. And you know what? If it turns out that Fudge wasn't actually in the war.
Fudge is not a person. He wasn't in the war.
Well, neither was Tom Cruise. And look what Top Gun did for you.
No, Ren, I 100% agree with you. If you can relate, I can relate to this guy in this situation. And I can I hate to say I can relate to Saul in that situation too, because I've been caught in lies before too. And when you're caught in that lie in that moment and someone's facing you with it, you have a couple of choices. It's either fess up in that moment, go in the attack, be all defensive and stuff too. It's tough. I mean, I hate being in that position when you're lied to, and it's also a very uncomfortable position, but Saul handles it very smarmy. And I know we're waiting and waiting. This is Saul Goodman in this scene. He Sauls up this shit.
I think we're just going to have to agree to disagree. So can I get you that coffee to go or?
No. I'm going to tell you what's happening now. You're going to take that ad off the air. And if you play that ad one more time, I'm going to go to the judge advocate and we will take you down. Trespassing, false representation, stolen valor, the whole 9 yards.
Seriously, for 8 seconds of a TV commercial.
You take that ad.
No, he's in, and I think that's what Timo, you asked a good question. What is this guy really hoping to accomplish? I think he's trying to just strong arm him, thinking that this guy will fold, thinking that Saul doesn't know him very well. Jimmy will just fold.
You let us on the base. Red carpet treatment.
Because you lied your way in.
Not how I remember it. And I got witnesses to back me
Yeah,
up.
he's not prepared for that. He's not prepared for someone to come back with, no, I'll call you on your shit. What the fuck? He was just hoping he'd go there and scare him into taking it down. But I don't think this is going to go away. I think this is going to come back. And he also played a dick on CSA in Miami. What do you mean the door, SM? I'm letting the cat in and out. The cat's scratching on the door. So I take you down if yeah, he's upset because of his pride and stuff too. Because he punished his pride, because he's just trying to pressure into changing it just because, I think. So he's working and blah, 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 blah. So this dude's like, you think you're smart, you think you don't have to pay, but the wheel's going to turn for you, and then Daenerys is going to break it. So then he's just like, you can't, he runs out of there, he just starts screaming, this a lawyer you can trust my ass. Take down the fucking commercial. Hey, Quixote, great to see you. Yeah, the door, the kitty's going in and out. I'm not checking anything. It's Betty. He'll just sit there and literally scratch the door for like Jimmy at the end of last season, just banging on the door. Eventually, you just have to let him in. It's like I can hear it. Exactly, Timo. What door? Wait, fuck, I missed it. What door? I don't see a door. So we come back in and Mike's doing his numbers, getting ready to cash out for the night. Heads out, looks, everything's so yellow. He checks the gas cap, if there's a bug, or he leaves the gas cap out of his car and he heads out. We come back on a shot of Mike alone and waiting and watching for someone. And finally the light comes on and Mike watches, and it's just a great shot. And some guy comes in that is also, was he from last season or is he on for whatever? So he comes in, he's sort of Mike's guy that's selling him shit and gets into, I mean, this is a fun scene between two characters. It's cool, but ultimately it's Mike ordering the device, ordering one of the devices himself. So we go back over to Mesa Verde and they're meeting with Kim. Everything seems to be order. Kim's kicking ass, but Kim is feeling a little guilty when they start talking about how Chuck fucked up and they don't really care about the clients and all that stuff. It's making Kim feel super guilty and super stressed that she may fuck up because Chuck's perfect. And the only reason Chuck fucked up is because Jimmy broke the law to screw him up to get her the client. So she's starting to feel indirectly screwy in her brain and self-destructive on the whole situation. So and like this is evident in the next scene where we see her on the computer and she's kind of changing some of the stuff on Chuck's shorthand and she's trying to make it her own, put different punctuation and shit. And ultimately she just decides to leave it Chuck's way because it's the right way. And she's stressing about it. She's laboring over each step while Jimmy's painting over the half of the rainbow in the hallway and surprising us with what's going to go out there next. So back in on some ice, and it's Chuck's house, and Ernesto is there. And this is a very crazy scene, and again shows the range of Michael McKean. And we're lucky to have Michael McKean on this fucking show and getting to see him do this much work. I said it before last season a lot. One of the things that I like most about Better Call Saul is I've always loved Michael McKean, even back from Laverne and fucking Shirley, Spinal Tap, Airheads, everything that he's in, I love. I know it's a billion other things, but I feel like this is the most I've ever seen him get to stretch out next to Spinal Tap or something like that. So I really love that they cast Michael McKean in it. And this is a great scene with him and Ernesto. And ultimately Ernesto's bringing batteries so he can change the tape player, and Ernesto goes to change the batteries. And Chuck gets angry.
Batteries.
Sure thing, Mr. McGill.
Thanks.
And he puts the tape player in for a second, and
Changed 1261 to 1216. It was me.
Turn that off! Turn it off!
It all went
Turn it off!
exactly.
You hear that?
and he just gets into it with him.
All
And,
right. Okay, Ernesto.
and I want to play this because to me, this sounds like a mafia guy threatening somebody. But ultimately saying, you don't want to talk. You don't want to talk. You don't want to know what's going to happen to you if you talk. You're dead. Your life's over. You can't talk.
Well, not yours. But now that you've heard it, you need to understand something. You know about confidentiality, right? As employees of Hamlin McGill, you and I are both bound by the strictures of client confidentiality. By law, both of us, by law. You understand what I'm saying?
So I'm not supposed to tell anyone?
That's right. No matter who, no matter what reasons you think you might have, you must not, you cannot tell anyone. There could be terrible consequences, life-changing consequences. And we don't want you to get into trouble. If something were to happen to you because of this, I'd feel sick about it.
You sick, twisted fuck, Chuck.
I guess I'll go finish putting away the groceries.
That you sick, twisted fuck, Chuck. Maybe I've seen way too many episodes of The Sopranos, but to me, that sounds like a fucking threat. That sounds like you fucking say anything, your ass is dead. Excuse me. Maybe not dead, but dead. Like your professional career is over forever. I will terminate you and we'll never give you a reference. We'll say you stole. We'll say you frickin' molested a chicken or something. You're the chicken fucker. Like whatever we want to say, you're fucked if you say anything. And I don't know, that comes off really not sadistic isn't the best word. Really controlling and really powerful, like someone that feels like they're in a huge position of power. And I don't know. That's a fucking evil move. That's a move. That's a you're either with me or you're against me. Oh, you're against me. Fucking evil. So, oh fuck! Don't get me started on Felicity. Okay, so then we get the next scene that we get a copy of the toy that Mike was used to track him, and this is where again I think I might have got wrong what was happening before, but ultimately it turns into we see another battery. He checks the battery, changes the battery, then he replaces. I think he replaces. He puts his tracker in the gas cap, so when the bad guys come to grab the tracker to see where Mike's been or trace his steps and stuff like that, he can actually follow them or something. Or when they come back to replace the tracker gas cap with the old gas cap or something, and take the one that had the tracker in it away, then Mike will be able to stalk them, be able to follow them. So it was one of the two situations. I mean, I think it's not important. The very specifics aren't important, but I assume that's why Mike said we can buy another gas cap. So they went back to replace the one because they didn't want because the device is expensive. They wanted to get the device back, and they had tracked Mike as much as they wanted to, and they just didn't And Mike, what he did was he intercepted it, changed it, and put his own tracker in there so he could track them back. What's Chuck planning to do with that tape? It can't be used in court. He knows it's what's the plan. Tell Mesa Verde. I don't think so. I think it's all personal. I think he's going to use it. He's going to bank on Jimmy not understanding the law enough and use it to get Kim to leave him because Kim is a good lawyer that doesn't deserve to be poisoned by Jimmy. And even though Kim knows, but playing something like that and saying, listen, I can cause you all kinds of problems, get you maybe you won't get in trouble and go to jail or anything, but there's nothing inappropriate activity here that it could fuck with you. And so Mike switches it up. I don't know if Chuck knows that Kim knows that yet. I think he's just going to use it as leverage one way or another against Jimmy. and directly one-on-one against Jimmy and try to like poison the well, maybe try to get him to do something again, like legally change his name to not be a McGill at all. And that might lead us in an indirect way to be Saul Goodman, that Chuck is going to kind of force the issue, because I don't want you having the fucking McGill name in practice law. We've already kind of seen hints to that. And maybe I just think he's going to use it as a bargaining chip and as a way of showing Jimmy that he's better than he is again. So, so he goes, Mike's getting a little bit sleepy as he's staring out his window, waiting for the bad guys to come, or whoever's been stalking him to come to change out the gas cap. They eventually do come. And for the third time in the episode, we have a passage of time thing going on. This time it's with nuts. We got Mike's bowl of nuts. He's getting a little sleepy eating them nuts. Hey boy. Hey boy, I want to eat them nuts. And someone gets the gas cap. We see that Mike can track him, and the end of the episode is a blur of Mike driving off, following the person with the tracker, and leading him to, as we saw in the preview for next week, Gus Fring. And also we see next week Mike and Saul together, more of Chuck, finding out a little bit more of what Chuck's plan is. So all of that and more on next week's episode of Better Call Saul, which we will have Joe with us. So I'm very excited about that, to have Joe here next week. Nuts getting distracted again. So that's our episode of Better Call Saul. As I said earlier, when people were asking for a number, I'd say comparatively to Better Call Saul episodes, I don't usually, I'm trying to do ratings a little bit more. I'm not good. Everything, you'll notice every one of my ratings is a 7 or something. But no, I would say comparatively to other Better Call Saul episodes, I would give this about a 7.5 or an 8. I think it was a really good introduction to the season. I like the parts I liked. I really liked all the Chuck and Jimmy interactions. I like the Mike stuff. I like the Kim stuff. Meh, a little bit blasé about her stealing Jimmy's clients, and then her guilt about the Mesa Verde situation. Meh, but I'm a little less invested or give a crap about that. But everything else, I'm really liking where it's setting the table for, I think, going to be probably the most exciting season of Better Call Saul that we've had so far. I have that feeling from everything that Vince and Peter Gould have been saying in the pre-season press, and they're not ones for talking like that. There's some people that every season of a show, they're like, this is going to be the greatest season of a show of all time. It's going to be the best ever, blah, blah, blah. Vince and Peter don't usually say that shit. They're more the humble type that are like, hey, that's pretty good. And it shows I'm pretty good. They think that this is one of the best seasons of a television show that they ever did. So I'm going to take heed of that. And it has me very excited for the things to come, because that, in the fact that Gustavo, whatever his name is, I'm not sure what his Gustavo, as I kill his name, Gus Fring, he's not coming back on the show unless he's getting meat to do stuff. He's not coming on just to be a glorified cameo like Tuco was or something. He's going to actually come on and be a character on the show. So 7.5 sandwiches. Yeah, 7.5 sandwiches, 7.5 buttholes, side buttholes. However you want to judge that. I would say, yeah, sandwiches is good. Sandwich buttholes. I have not, now Phil, talk about Ragnarok. I have actually not seen the Ragnarok trailer as of yet. I could theoretically watch it, but I don't want to, I'd have to mute it and shit like that. I don't want to fucking YouTube and their evil bastards to fucking, what do you call it? Flag my video for the audio in it or something. But Joe and I are doing a show on Wednesday afternoon. I know that seems like a while. It's going to be so long for that, but Joe and I will watch that trailer before and have a talk about it on the air there. But Hulk and Thor beating shit up, I don't see how that couldn't be fun anyways. Phil, do you have YouTube videos of your band? Not some of the songs that you guys would that I play on the show and not on the newer band, or I do, but they're kind of private. I had private videos of them. But if you searched "Frightening Dick Theater" on YouTube, issues "Frightening Dick Theater," you could find some videos. Just search "Frightening Dick Theater" of my old band. Also, I was in a band called The Force where I played congas and stuff. But I would search for "Frightening Dick Theater" is an easier search term. With The Force, you'd be searching for like The Force. But yeah, if you search "Frightening Dick Theater," you'll find some stuff. I reacted to it, Phil, and didn't get the copyright, so I doubt it. Okay. Let me, your rating system should be beers. So let's play SM, let's play Jay's messages. And so let's consider this the end of the Better Call Saul stream. Everybody, thank you so much. That's here for Better Call Saul alone. I'm going to probably babble about some other stuff for another little bit. So let's listen to a couple voicemails, maybe get into some Game of Thrones stuff, because I think Jay said that was what his calls were about. And maybe I'll try to punch up the Ragnarok trailer and watch that.